Officials want R. Kelly dead. You heard me. The government, they say, has put a target on the singer in prison.
The reason is that Mr. Kelly was about to expose some facts that would be extremely inflammatory and damaging.
Like the days before the event, he was getting death threats that he felt like was coming from Jay-Z. Like Jay-Z was trying to basically, it may sound outrageous, but he felt like Jay-Z wanted to get him killed for whatever reason.
Have you maintained any type of contact with R. Kelly since?
We spoke, like, you know what I'm saying, we spoke a couple times, but I don't really want to be like, I know he's getting calls from everywhere, and I mean, if he's guilty, I just hope and pray that he get help. If he's not, I wish everybody, you know what I'm saying, everybody embrace him, you know, and whatever.
When Jerry and I was in there doing basketball boys, you can't tell me Jerry didn't see a 14-year-old girl come in the studio and sit on R. Kelly's lap.
Kelly just got rushed to the hospital, and this ain't no minor scare. His lawyer says it looks like a straight-up poisoning attempt and the name being whispered in the shadows. Jay-Z. Yeah, that Jay-Z. And behind him, Roc Nation. What's being called a murder plot might go all the way to the top.
R. Kelly was giving an additional dose of medication by prison staff, and they're alleging that because of that additional medication that he was instructed to take and that he actually took, he suffered a overdose.
According to Kelly's legal team, a man allegedly hired to kill him just confessed, and get this, he says he was sent by someone terrified of what Kelly might spill. Dangerous secrets, industry, shaking receipts, the kind of dirt that could destroy big names. And right at the front of that list, Jay-Z, who used to roll tight with Kelly back in the day.
I'm pulling with the big boy truck, nigga, big boy truck. We be the only big boys that the big boy buys. Go get him, Kelly.
But this ain't even the first time. Fingers have pointed toward Kelly's old cellmate, Ronnie Bo claims. Kelly told him years ago that Jay tried to sacrifice him. You heard that right? Sacrifice. And we know Kelly and Jay-Z had a whole run together before they suddenly fell out.
I don't know if it could have been some Illuminati sacrifice type shit. I don't know. He don't know. You know what I mean? But that's how he feel.
Jay tried to distance himself later, saying he had no clue about Kelly's mess behind the scenes. But insiders, they're saying otherwise. Some folks are saying Jay-Z was playing the same dirty game as the rest of them, and now things are really heating up.
After the album about women with him, I'm definitely maybe indulgent. He had to be indulgent for 14-year-olds. That's what I'm saying. What I'm here for the people, man. I'm here to talk the truth.
Nas just jumped into the mix, calling out Jay's alleged part in the whole R. Kelly mess. But why now? What's about to drop? Right when Kelly hinted he was finally ready to expose everything, boom, he collapses after getting meds from prison staff and ends up in critical condition. That ain't no accident. Somebody clearly wants him silenced, permanently. So here's the real question. What does Kelly know that's got Roc Nation sweating through their designer suits? And why do people connected to Jay-Z always seem to pop up when the cover-ups start crumbling? This might just be the tip of the iceberg. Whatever Kelly's hiding could be explosive enough to rip the music game wide open. Jay-Z might have messed up by not staying quiet.
Jay-Z should have kept his motherfucking clothes. Because everybody in the industry, they not going to tell you. But everybody know in the industry that Jay-Z was talking to young girls.
And now, Kelly's lawyer just dropped another bomb. He says Kelly was denied medical care for months, even though he kept begging for help with symptoms that could have ended him. This ain't just some paperwork error. It's starting to look like somebody wanted him out the picture. And what led up to it? Straight up sinister. Court docs say the shady stuff started right after Kelly was thrown in solitary. That's when prison staff allegedly pumped him full of meds, way more than he's ever taken before.
So they say that Kelly woke up allegedly on June 13th and he felt faint. He was dizzy. He started to see black spots. He got up and he fell. He crawled to the door of the cell and he lost consciousness then. At that point, he was placed on a gurney. He was taken by ambulance to a nearby hospital because they tried to take him to the hospital inside of or associated with the facility that he's in, but they couldn't help him, so they took him to an outside hospital. Now, they say in addition to this incident, this overdose, right, they're also pointing to the fact that R. Kelly allegedly has been asking for months to get some medical attention to a swollen leg. R. Kelly's legal team says that once he was taken to the hospital for this overdose situation, R. Kelly brought up the swollen leg, and they allege that doctors there then took a look at the swollen leg and they found blood clots in R. Kelly's right leg, allegedly, in his left leg, and his lungs, allegedly. But his legal team alleges that once the prison was contacted, R. Kelly was then removed against his will by guards and was not allowed to be treated.
They said the meds were for anxiety and sleep, but according to Kelly's team, it was more like an overdose that landed him in the hospital on June 13th. And here's where it gets extra shady. They claim he was pulled out of Duke University Hospital against medical advice. Doctors allegedly warned, don't move him. But guess what? They did it anyway. Kelly's lawyers aren't holding back. They're calling this a targeted hit, and it gets even wilder. This all happened just days after Kelly begged for release, saying he feared for his life. He even claimed another inmate was paid to take him out.
In terms of proof, the most powerful piece of proof I can provide is the sworn statement of the man who says that he was solicited to kill R. Kelly. Michael Glenn Stein has provided us with a full declaration signed, and he's given his willingness to sit down for a polygraph examination administered by either side to testify in court. He has given us the details of who solicited him and when. And I think that's the key here. These are not R. Kelly's allegations. These are the allegations being made by Michael Glenn Stein, who's the person who says that he was solicited to kill Robert and sent to Butner to do it.
On June 11th, Kelly's lawyer, Bob Brindley, fired off a statement to USA Today saying federal officers tried to have Kelly killed just because he's ready to blow the lid off some major corruption tied to his case. And Brindley didn't stop there.
Mr. Stein, in his declaration, has set forth the reason that was given. The reason is that Mr. Kelly was about to expose some facts that would be extremely inflammatory and damaging to the Bureau of Prisons and the Department of Justice.
He went live on News Nation, dropping a bomb. They've got a sworn statement from an inmate named Michael Stein, who says he was offered early release if he took Kelly out. So now the question is, why are they this desperate to shut Kelly up? Brindley says it's simple. Kelly knows way too much, and what he's about to reveal, it allegedly connects some very powerful figures.
And he told us in extraordinary detail that this is not the first instance, that this happens all the time.
Maybe even people tied to the government itself. This ain't just a legal battle anymore, it's starting to look like a cover-up with serious players involved of justice. And now, boom, Jay-Z's name crashes right back into the chaos. In that same sworn statement, the alleged hitman said this wasn't the first time someone tried to take Kelly out. And the way it's being laid out, there's serious suspicion that people connected to Roc Nation might be pulling strings behind the curtain.
He just said how much conflict they was experiencing with each other, like even during the process of putting the album together, but especially on tour, you know, like they kept having petty disagreements. And he felt like, you know, Jay-Z, you know, kept saying things along the lines that, like, man, you not bigger than me, like you act like you bigger than me. And he felt like Jay-Z was kind of insecure because R. Kelly at the time was technically bigger than him.
Something huge is being covered up, and Kelly might have been just moments away from exposing it all. Now here's where things get real messy. The last time someone claimed there was a hit on Kelly behind bars, it came from his ex-cellmate Ronnie Bold. And what Ronnie said, straight up wild. He says Kelly told him directly that Jay-Z was trying to get him killed. Ronnie spilled everything on Hip Hop News Uncensored, laying out the wild tension between Kelly and Jay-Z during their Best of Both Worlds tour.
He felt like, you know, on one of the shows, one of the events when they was in Madison Square Garden, prior to that event, he said like days before the event, he was getting death threats that he felt like was coming from Jay-Z. Like Jay-Z was trying to basically, it may sound outrageous, but he felt like Jay-Z wanted to get him killed for whatever reason. I don't know if it could have been some Illuminati sacrifice type shit. I don't know. He don't know. You know what I mean? But how he felt.
According to him, Kelly felt Jay was moving shady, acting cool on stage but secretly insecure and trying to sabotage him behind the scenes. But it doesn't stop there. Ronnie says Kelly started getting death threats while still on tour with Jay, and Kelly believed Jay wasn't just being petty, he was trying to sacrifice him. Yeah, you heard that right. Sacrifice.
Jay a pretty powerful dude in that industry, you know what I mean? And I'm experiencing that now because I was supposed to be setting up an interview with the Breakfast Club, and they said that iHeart wouldn't allow me to do it because of the publicity that's surrounding my name, man. You know, it may sound far-fetched, but I know that Jay-Z has connections to where he can blacklist.
This feud wasn't just about music. It was something way darker. Sacrifice is a heavy word, but Ronnie swears R. Kelly believes someone close was setting him up to get taken out. And here's the twist. Ronnie Bo was supposed to speak on all this during a Breakfast Club interview, but it got shut down last minute. And who did Ronnie say pulled the plug? Jay-Z. Yep, blocked. But wait.
R. Kelly pointed out to me is that, like, he basically was saying, like, just look at how hard they coming down on me with all that go on in the industry, and look at how they never said nothing about how when Jay-Z was messing with Foxy Brown, she was 15. You know, everybody knew that, but nobody ever bashed him about it like they bashed me over Aaliyah. And he was basically saying he never even really messed with Aaliyah on the level that everybody think, you know, he messed with her on.
It gets even deeper. Ronnie didn't stop there. He claimed the real reason Jay-Z is trying so hard to silence Kelly is because Kelly might be ready to expose something way darker. Ronnie dragged Jay's own sketchy past into the spotlight, especially when it comes to young women in the industry. Everybody already knows Kelly's history with the late Aaliyah, but Ronnie said folks been turning a blind eye when it comes to Jay-Z.
Jay-Z should have kept his mouth closed. Because everybody in the industry, they not going to tell you. They not going to get out and say that because we have this no snitching, no telling the truth, or don't say nothing type of culture. But everybody know in the industry that Jay-Z was talking to young girls. See, I know in 99 and early 2000, he was dealing with Beyonce. I didn't know Jay-Z was 30 years old though. And Beyonce was 17 and 18. See, Jack could have told it, but I saw it. Personally, I was there. At the clubs, at Eugene's, at the next games. Or Miss Gaines might say, yeah, that's too old, Gene. Yeah, I'll beat him up. I talked to my daughter, he that old. She's 17, 18 years old, in his 30s. Oh, don't let me catch you.
Ronnie pointed fingers at Jay's alleged ties to both Aaliyah and Foxy Brown when they were still underage, and said Jay's history with young girls has been quietly swept under the rug for years. Everybody thinks, you know, he messed with her, Ronnie hinted. Now to be clear, this ain't about saying Kelly's innocent, but let's look at the facts. Somehow, Jay-Z dodged all the heat while Kelly got buried under it all. And it's not just Ronnie talking. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, came forward too, saying the whole industry knew what Jay was up to back then, but nobody dared speak up because they were scared. Jay-Z should have kept his mouth shut.
Valentino giving me style. That's not what I'm going to do. Yeah, I could have put up movies, but I could have showed the R. Kelly video that everybody's talking about, made fun of it, and said, yeah, Jay's hanging out. When Jay and them was in there doing basketball awards, you can't tell me Jay didn't see a 14-year-old girl come in the studio and sit on R. Kelly's lap. No. You can't tell me, you won't sit here and tell me that they're working on that album, that he ain't never seen a 14-year-old girl come in the vicinity.
Oh, and don't get it twisted. Not everyone in the industry is staying silent anymore. A few bold voices are finally stepping up to call Jay-Z out. And one of the loudest voices out there? Nas. He didn't hold back when he hit up Wendy Williams' radio show and dropped some serious heat. Nas was actually one of the first to say Jay-Z might have been caught up in the same kind of shady stuff as R. Kelly. Nas flat out said Jay knew what was happening with Kelly back in the day, and still looked the other way. Wendy even jumped in, saying it's basically impossible to be that close to Kelly and not see all the chaos going down behind the scenes. But Nas wasn't buying any of the I didn't know talk. He said if Jay stuck around long enough to record a whole collab album with Kelly, he wasn't just some innocent bystander.
My belief is that anybody who's worked with him and been in his cypher has seen it go down.
And I'll tell you for him. But if I sit there and did an album about women with him, I'm definitely maybe indulgent. He had to be indulgent for 14-year-olds, man.
According to Nas, Jay-Z might have been caught up in the exact same mess. Now let's swing back to that attempted hit on Kelly, because this ain't about no old beef or tour drama. Kelly's legal team says he was nearly killed because he's sitting on serious info, and not just about celebs. We're talking dirt that could shake the feds, the prison system, even the Department of Justice. So how does Jay-Z fit into all this? Well, this is where it gets real suspicious. Jay's got deep ties with powerful government folks, especially through Roc Nation's president and his right-hand woman, Desiree Perez. And Desiree, she ain't just a music boss, and she's also a former federal informant. Yep, you heard right.
When you started selling drugs?
I can't say. I don't like the way you're saying that. Let's say hustling. That sounds such a harsh way to put it.
But it is harsh.
I can't be a politician. I'm too real. I don't want to talk about it. That's the best thing.
Never?
No. Never.
According to court records dug up by the New York Daily News, Desiree got busted back in '94 with 35 kilos of cocaine and conspiracy to distribute. That's cartel-level weight. The case was tied to a major drug ring stretching from New York to Florida and Puerto Rico. So let's stop pretending Roc Nation is just a music label. It's looking more like a power machine with real deep roots. Jay-Z's inner circle is stacked with street ties, old-school criminal links, and folks who've cut deals just to keep their spot. And if Desiree Perez flipped once, who's to say she ain't still playing both sides right now? Now here's where it gets extra grimy. Desiree's husband, Juan B. Perez, ain't just some dude in the background. He's got serious cartel connections, and he's been tight with Jay since way back in the early 90s.
This is the one time that the paper did scare me, and I was like, there has to be some truth to it, is when I read about his affiliation with, informants, that he's in business with certain people. And it's tricky for me to say, but just based on where I'm from, I can't have nothing to do with that. And then just based on...
Do you believe that, though?
I don't know. It's paperwork.
Yeah.
So it's not to believe. You know what I'm saying? There's paperwork. So that part of it scares me, because I know Biggs is in jail. I know Irv Gotti's been harassed for years over shit he didn't do. I know they've been with me for years. So it just means I need to stay over here. You know what I'm saying? So I love Jay, but let's say I find out that any of that, I can't for him at all, because that's how I was raised. It ain't no disrespect. I don't know how anyone else was raised. That's it. It ain't nothing to talk about. And it's real serious for me, because your friend, my man's in jail for 3 years over weed. The feds is really on me. It's not like they not. And where I'm from, that's tolerated at all.
These two co-founded the 40/40 Club together, and later on, Jay-Z handed him the keys to Roc Nation Sports, putting Juan in charge as president. But their loyalty runs way deeper than business. They were locked in long before Roc Nation even existed. So real talk, what kind of business were Jay and Juan moving back in the day? Let's not kid ourselves, it wasn't just about music. Now, before we circle back to how this all links up with R. Kelly, here's the real twist. What actually happened after Desiree got caught with 35 kilos of cocaine? According to Variety, she got off super light, just 5 years probation. Why? Because she flipped. She turned full-on federal informant. A 2014 New York Daily News piece even called Desiree the Fed's star mole. That same article mentioned a court hearing on June 11, 1996, where Assistant U.S. Attorney Lawrence Feld openly praised Desiree to the judge, saying she worked closely with agents and deserved to avoid prison time. They described her as a Manhattan nightclub boss with a long criminal record and major ties to Jay-Z. But here's the shady part. That whole article, scrubbed from the internet, gone without a trace. But people were quick. Screenshots are still floating everywhere on social media. And this ain't just some wild rumor either. Dame Dash himself said he was straight up shocked when Jay-Z brought Desiree in as Roc Nation's president. He went on Sway in the Morning and basically said, "Yo, this ain't it. Even Jay's own people are raising eyebrows." And that says a lot. He even called out that a bunch of Jay-Z's people, like Rockefeller co-founder Kareem Biggs, Burke, have had serious issues with the feds in the past. So what exactly is Jay surrounding himself with? Informants, cartel connections, and folks who know how to move quiet in the shadows. Let's call it what it is. Jay-Z bringing in a federal informant with a wild criminal past to help run his empire? That's not just shady, that's straight spooky. Desiree Perez ain't your average music exec. She's someone who's made deals with the government. And now she's calling shots like it's just another business day at Roc Nation. Put all the pieces together and it's looking real calculated. R. Kelly's near-death moment, that wasn't no accident. His lawyer said it plain. This was a targeted hit. Kelly's sitting on some nasty secrets. And this ain't just about music beef or celebrity drama. He's got info that could rattle the feds, shake the prison system, and even touch the Department of Justice. And Jay-Z, he's looking a little too close to the fire. His move to put someone like Desiree, who's flipped for the government before, at the top of Roc Nation, that ain't random. That's a chess move. So now we gotta ask, What's really going on behind those Roc Nation doors? If Kelly's telling the truth, there's a whole network out here working overtime to bury this mess. And it ain't just about silence, they're willing to take lives to keep these secrets sealed. But trust, this story, it's far from over. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you don't miss a single drop of the truth. We're exposing it all. Catch you on the next one. Government before, at the top of Roc Nation. That ain't random. That's a chess move. So now we gotta ask, what's really going on behind those Roc Nation doors? If Kelly's telling the truth, there's a whole network out here working overtime to bury this mess. And it ain't just about silence, they're willing to take lives to keep these secrets sealed. But trust, this story, it's far from over. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you don't miss a single drop of the truth. We're exposing it all. Catch you on the next one.